I am going to call to order the July 18th Planning Board meeting. Good evening, everybody.
We're not on yet.
It's not recording live, so I don't believe it's going to be
Okay.
illuminated.
Okay,
Okay.
perfect. So we have one item on our agenda today, and that is going to be to accept the application we had in front of us. Let me grab this chair real quick, because my computer just decided it doesn't want to work.
Do we need to quorum up?
Yeah, so I will nominate
Sign.
Mr. DeFrancesco to vote, so we have a quorum here. And, all right, so we have a public hearing solely to determine the completeness of a continued application for formal review of a lot line adjustment to adjust the lot line between two parcels, 37 Stonehenge Road, map 12, lot 124-13, and 41 Stonehenge Road, map 12, lot 123, zoned AR1, agricultural residential. Tommy Censabella and Shawna Denn are the owners, and Promise Land Survey LLC is the applicant. All right, let me pull up here. So I am looking for a motion to accept this application as complete.
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Mr. Knights. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No opposition. The motion has been accepted as complete. Mr. Bielinski.
When are you having public input on this?
So we're going to have the public hearing on this on its scheduled date, which is August 7th.
No, you have this as a public hearing today.
Okay, so,
It is what it is.
So
You guys
there's-
put it out.
yeah, so there is this, I'm about to ask for a motion to continue this. The public hearing would happen after the applicant presents. The applicant is not presenting. We are merely accepting this application as complete so we can comply with New Hampshire RSAs. As you probably are well aware, I continued a meeting last week. We should have accepted this, but we didn't. Since we didn't accept it as complete, the August 7th meeting would put us out of compliance with the RSA that says we need to accept an application within 30 days of it being submitted. So we are merely accepting this as complete, and from there, in a moment, I'm gonna be asking for a motion to continue this to the 7th, which is when it was planned.
This is a public hearing as you posted it, so the public gets to speak.
The
And
pub,
you want to speak.
I'll let you speak. Though the public hearing would traditionally come after we hear the applicant,
I know how it works. but
Okay.
you have this listed
So I'll
as a
let you-
public
Okay.
hearing.
I'm gonna let you come up for a minute, if you'd like to come up.
3 minutes.
Richard Bielinski, 89 Hall Road. I have to say, as part of this whole process, I see this as an issue. You had a 7:10 meeting. You continued it to 8:07. That's fine. That's in accordance with the RSAs. This isn't a continuation. This is a new public hearing. You have to meet the 10-day notification. I think it's 675-7, which doesn't include the day the notification goes out, which doesn't include the day of the hearing. You've disenfranchised the general public because they don't know about it. My understanding is you hand noticed all the abutters to this because you couldn't get it out in time. This isn't how you do business,
Mr. Chair.
all right? This isn't how you do business. And this is nothing against the applicant, and I understand this isn't that big a deal. It's like a lot line adjustment. But if you're gonna do things, you need to do them right. So what did you do that's in compliance with the RSA for those 10 days so the general public can come down? Yes, you hand delivered to the applicants and the abutters. You're not in compliance. As far as I'm concerned, this is not a legal meeting. All right? I understand why you're doing it. Of course, I don't really understand why you just didn't do it on the 10th, because the whole reason given for continuing it was, in my eyes, a little silly, because you didn't need the planning board's recommendations to do what you do. So this, to me, this is just kind of, all right, we got to do something to appease the applicants. And it's not their fault. I don't blame them. It's not the project. where is the notification that's required? Because this is not a continuation. This is, you made a date-specific a continuance to the 7th of August. That's 3 weeks from now. All right, and this isn't me saying this. I took it upon myself to speak to somebody who's attorney on this. And they said, if you hadn't been date-specific, the continuance wouldn't have been okay, but that's fine because you did, as you should. The last I looked, when I look at the calendar this morning, this is not August 7th. All right? You got a problem. And I get the 30 days and I get all that. But the solution to a problem isn't to do something that's not in compliance just to make that comply. I know that Mike's going to say something and try to twist it, and it's going to sound other than what it is. But I did my homework talking to people that do this for a living, not myself. I looked at this, and they said, yes, what you're saying is correct. You just have to make sure it was date-specific for the continuance. And that would have been fine, because that's your notification. The people have been noticed. The public's been noticed for 7/10. If they wanted to come, they were there. They know you continued it to the 7th. This, to me, is not right, and I want that on record.
Thank you. Mike, is there anything you want to say on that?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair, for that opportunity. As you pointed out, Mr. Chair, I think that, one of the things that I've tried to do and that I've seen you try to do during your tenure as chair is, if something isn't right, we try to fix it. And this is a situation where I think we recognize that we had a little bit of cleanup to do. And we took all reasonable steps after you called this special meeting as chair to do just that. We sent to the union leader notice of this meeting on Sunday. We posted the agenda at Town Hall. That's been posted for several days here at Town Hall. The agenda has been posted on the website for several days. And as Mr. Bielinski indicated, I personally hand-delivered notices to the residences or business addresses of each of the abutters and the applicant on Monday. Telephone notification was made to the applicant's representative. This is not the case where the applicant is, we're doing this to appease the applicant, as was suggested. On the contrary, I think we recognized that we had some cleanup to do, and we undertook to do that on our own. I would also point out that this has been on Town Underground for some period of time as well. So the public hasn't been disenfranchised because we've taken reasonable steps to notice this. And this is in full keeping with RSA 91A, which merely requires posting and 24 hours notice for a meeting like this. So I understand that in an ideal world, we would give at least 10 days notice, but I can assure you and I can assure the public that we gave as much notice as reasonably possible, understanding that we have a statutory deadline that we also have to comply with, which is that 30-day deadline. The fact that a hearing has been continued doesn't mean that you can't call a sooner duly noticed public hearing that comports with 91A. For all of those reasons, I would just reiterate what I said before. This is a situation of no good deed goes unpunished. The board and staff identified some cleanup that needed to occur and worked cooperatively to do just that. Unfortunately, you have conflicting statutes that have different deadlines, but I think the purpose of all of these statutes is to ensure, one, that the 65-day clock is running in favor of the applicant. That doesn't benefit the town. That holds the town accountable and benefits the applicant to ensure that the application is addressed in a timely fashion. That doesn't start running until the application is accepted as complete. And secondly, that the intention and the purpose of these statutes is to ensure that as much notice as is possible is given. And in this case, notice exceeds the statutory requirement in that we are running it in the newspaper. We are posting it on the website and physically at Town Hall. We are delivering by personal delivery notices to all affected. And so,
Thank you.
I would suggest to you, Mr. Chair, and to the public that we've done, if not a perfect job, but a pretty darn good job here.
Thank you. Jeff, you were gonna, you looked like you wanted to say something. I had asked you to hold on for a minute. Are you all set?
No, I'm all set, Mr. Chair.
I have
look-
some- I have some.
Sure.
So, is it my understanding, as the new guy alternate but voting today, is it my understanding that on the part of a meeting, when plans are voted on for completeness, there is no public comment for that part of the meeting? Is that true?
That is correct. Your public comment in a public hearing comes after the applicant has presented, after town staff has added their input, after the board has gone around and had their input. That's when it's opened up. In the public hearing, that's when it's opened up to the public to speak.
And so that part of the public
That part of the public hearing,
is gonna be at the next meeting, which was always gonna be
correct.
the next meeting. Is it the 7th?
Correct.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
August 7th?
Yep.
It was always gonna be that way. So we're not afoul, and tell me if I'm wrong, we have not run afoul of letting the public have their say.
Correct,
correct?
because they're very much gonna be able to have their
Because for
say.
this part of the process, the public doesn't ever have a say for
Correct.
this part of it.
Correct.
So all we're doing is we're setting the table for the meeting that was always gonna happen on the 7th. We're setting the table for that public hearing part of the meeting where the public gets to speak and say what they wanna say, the neighbors, whomever wants to speak.
Correct.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I am looking for a motion to continue this to the August, it's 10th or 7th? 7th, August 7th meeting.
Let's just double check that, Mr. Chair, to make sure. But I believe you have it right. Yes.
So I'm looking for a motion to continue this to the August 7th, 2024 meeting.
Mr. Chair, I'll make that motion to continue this application.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Chair votes in the affirmative.
Mr.
The
Chair, I'd like to make
Sure.
a motion to adjourn.
motion to adjourn. I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Chair votes in the affirmative. We are adjourned. Thank you.